Everything started so fast and it seems impossible to catch up and bring up your grades? Well, pull up a chair, girlfriend. Grab your favorite notebook and pen because it is the very first episode of SheRocks College Live, and I'm going to be walking you through how to revamp your study routine in one single weekend so that you can feel in control of your life again and finish the semester strong. My name is Clarissa Rodriguez. If you don't know who I am the host and the creator of SheRocks at College Live, a weekly show that happens every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is an online interactive community where college women like you can find resources, tips, and inspiration that will help you succeed in college and in life. So let's get into tonight's show because I'm going to teach you step by step how to get your whole life mid-semester. In the comments, I want you guys to let me know that you're here. In the comments, why don't you go ahead and tell me how you're feeling in your semester right now? How are you feeling? How are things going? Are you struggling a little bit? Are you feeling like you're not quite sure if you're going to make it? Not quite sure if you're going to pass? Not quite sure if you should drop this class or not? Do you spend your time bouncing between 5 different assignments because they're all due in the next 2 days and you don't know which one to focus on at this point or what to even do to get yourself back on track? Are you behind on weeks of reading and assignments? Be honest. Who's cried in the last week from the sheer overwhelm and the sheer stress of this semester? If that's you, go ahead and let me know in the comments. So Michelle says she needed this. She's struggling right now. I feel you, girl. Ilham says, I'm really trying to stay awake. So she must be in another part of the country. Amy says she's feeling a little defeated. Cynthia's feeling a little drained. She's struggling. And Deb is saying, me! Girls, I feel ya. I myself know what this is like. I went from completely failing out of a bio major and having someone look me in the eye and tell me, you're not smart enough to succeed, to graduating a rigorous program with honors while working 2 jobs and building a company. So I totally get what you're feeling right now. So here's what I'm going to tell you. This time in the semester we'll do that. But it's okay because by the end of tonight's show, you're going to have a step-by-step plan for getting back on track. So I'm going to set this up for you a little bit. You're going to need a couple of things. So if you are near it, grab your syllabi, grab a calculator, grab a planner, grab any old exams, quizzes, homework, books, online resources, your school's website, Blackboard if you have it. Because I'm going to walk you through the steps tonight. I will let you know that you're going to do this over the weekend, okay? You're going to do this on Saturday and on Sunday. And it's going to take you about 1 to 2 hours on Saturday and 1 to 2 hours on Sunday to complete this entire process. So don't feel stressed if you do not have it all down right now, okay? Do not feel stressed about that. So once you guys have all of that, or if you're ready for me to start, go ahead and let me know. I'm ready for you to start. Go ahead, Clarissa. Let's get into this. Okay. So here is step 1. Step 1 of getting back on track, of revamping your study routine, comes down to finding out where you're at. Where are you at right now? You need to calculate your current grades for this semester. Or ask your professor. you need to find out where you currently stand. What grades do you have up until this point? How much each of those assignments were worth? And if nothing else, if you got no other grades, what grade would you have right now? Now, many of you are going to try to avoid this step because it's putting you face to face with the reality of what's happening. You don't want to do this because you don't want to have to realize that you're not in a good standing, or you don't want to have to admit that something needs to change. But this step is crucial. And this is what you're going to do on Saturday. On Saturday, you are going to calculate your current grades or send an email to your professor asking them what your current grade is in the class. Step number 2, what's left? We're only in the midpoint. Listen, if you are if you're borderline passing and we're midpoint in the semester right now, there is still ample opportunity for you to at least pass this class with the high D, high C. Now, I know it's not ideal. It's not like the perfect situation, but it's better than failing. It's better than having to pay to retake this class. It's better than having to spend an extra semester in college, right? So what you need to do is you need to figure out what's left. Take an inventory of the assignments that you have left and what grades you'll need on them in order to pass with at least a C+. So step number 2 is you need to create a list for all of your classes. What assignments do you have left? How much are those assignments worth? And what grade do you need to get on them to finish off this semester in that class with at least a C+? I am all about being realistic, and I believe that C's get degrees. I believe that progress trumps everything else. The things that you're going to learn this semester are going to help you to do better next semester. All I want you to focus on is how do I improve right now? What can I do that is in my power to progress even just a little bit? So it's okay if you don't end the semester with an A. It's okay if you're not the top person in the class. What I want you to compete against is yourself. If right now you're staring at a D and you finish the semester with a C+, that is something to celebrate. It shows that you made changes. It shows that you took things seriously. It shows that you've improved. And that's what we're looking for. That is what, when you go out into the quote unquote real world, as people like to say, but when you're no longer a college student, you're going to be rated on your progress, how you improve, not how good you are right off the bat. So I want you to get real about where you are right now and figure out what grades you need to just end off the semester with a C+. Just end the semester with a C+, okay? So that was step number 2. Step number 3 is to figure out what the hell you've been doing. Because you've been doing something. Something's been happening that has been getting you the results, the grades, the feedback that you're getting right now in your classes. And you need to figure out what that is. And if you're looking at me right now and you're thinking to yourself, Clarissa, I have no strategy. I have no routine. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. It's okay. I just want you to take note of what you have been doing up until this point. Okay? What did you do to prepare and study for your last exam? What did you do to prepare to write your last paper? How many days in advance did you study? How many days in advance did you start working on that paper? I just need you to take note of what you've done so that we know what needs to change and so that we know what isn't working. So that we know what isn't working and we know what we need to tweak. We cannot make changes. We cannot revamp your study routine if you do not know what you've been doing, because we have no place to go from. We have nothing to evaluate. We have nothing to change, nothing to improve if you don't take inventory of it. So that is step 3. What's not been working? What have you been doing? What do you need to stop doing? What do you need to start doing? The 4th step is making a list of who can help you. Making a list of who and what can help you. One of the things that I refuse to let the students that I work with one-on-one and inside of study school say is I can't or I do not know how. Any answer that you give me is fine besides those two. I don't want to hear I don't know how or I don't know, and I don't want to hear I can't. Because psychologically, when you say I can't and when you say I don't know, you literally shut your brain's creativity center off from looking for a solution for you, from helping you to figure it out. So instead of saying I don't know how, or nobody wants to help me, or I don't have support, or I can't, what I want you to say to yourself is how can I? Who can help? Where can I find support? I'm telling you that if you are paying money, whether that be in student loans, scholarships, or out of your own pocket, your tuition is going towards resources that were built into your academic program to help you. And I guarantee that 95% of you are not utilizing and milking those resources to the best of your ability. And yet, day in and day out, you sit and whine and complain about how nobody's helping you, how there isn't any support, how no one tells you what to focus on, how no one helps you. But there are things sitting right in front of you like the Academic Success Center, which has a bunch of different workshops. You literally live in a world with endless amounts of information, the internet. If you are struggling with stress, with ADHD, with inability to focus, there is a counseling center on every campus that you can reach out to, or you can take advantage of it with your own health insurance. You have tutoring that's available to you on campus. You have the writing center that's available to you on campus. You have research librarian, literally people who are paid just to help you with research at your school, at your college. You also have your professor, and you have me, and you have a bunch of other different resources, as simple as your textbook. How many of you have sat there and gone through your preface in your textbook, where there is probably a website that is free, that has additional help and support for you to access? Listen, when I went through my textbook's preface, do you want to know what I found? I found a website with a link to the chapter summarized. Outlines already created for me. Practice tests that I could use. Supplemental videos that explained concepts in the book. And I didn't have to pay extra for it. You have so much at your disposal that you're not taking advantage of. I'm asking you to show up for yourself. I'm asking you to take control of your life. I'm asking you to stop playing the victim. I'm asking you to go after what it is that you want with all of your might. I am asking you to fight for yourself, to not settle, to not limit yourself. This is how you revamp your study routine. This is how you revamp your whole life. This is how you change your academic setting, your academic standing in a weekend. Recapping, step number 1, where are you at grade-wise? Figure it out. Step number 2, what do you have left? What assignments, what exams, what quizzes, what papers, what group projects can you give your all to from now until the end of the semester to help you bring up your grade? Step number 3, take inventory of what you've been doing up until this point, because it's been producing a result. It might not be the result that you want, but you need to figure out, what have I been doing? What haven't I been doing? What do I need to stop doing? What do I need to start doing? Step number 4, make a list of who can help you. Make a list of what can help you. Make a list of all of the resources that are around you that you haven't taken advantage of yet. And step number 5, when was the last time you sat down and chatted with your professor? When was the last time that you actually had a conversation with your professor? When was the last time that you showed up to office hours? When was the last time? In the comments, I want you guys to tell me, who has gone to office hours in the last week? Who has gone to office hours in the last week? And if you haven't gone to office hours in the last week, can you let me know why? I'd love to know what scares you about talking to your professor, or what prevents you from going and having a conversation with your professor. So Deb has gone to office hours this week. So has Talia. Cynthia has gone. Savannah. Oh my God, you girls are impressing me so freaking much. Savannah, by the way, your picture is awesome. Awesome. If you haven't gone, let me know in the comments. Why not? Why not? Is it because you're afraid that they're going to speak to you condescendingly? Is it because it hasn't been helpful in the past? Is it because you're not sure what to say? Is it because you're not sure what to do? So Talia says, for certain classes, I'm going to move this somewhere up here. For certain classes, fear of facing myself in reality. Who can relate to that? If you can relate to what Talia just wrote down, can you, in the comments, let her know that she's not alone? Let Talia know that you felt that way too. I'm so proud of you. For those of the girls who have gone to office hours already, you're doing incredible. Amazing. Okay. So that was all. Everything that I talked about was all happening on Saturday. So that's just your Saturday. Again, that process is going to take you about an hour or two to figure out where you're at for all of your classes, to make a list of what's left, how much it's worth, and the grade that you need to get on it in order to finish the class with a C+. It's going to take you about an hour or two in total. I'm talking about in total, to go through all of these 5 steps on Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening. You know, you're going to need to make a list of all of the resources. And then with step 5, if you have not yet gone to chat with your professor, I want you to pull out your syllabus and I want you to make a list of when your professor's office hours are next. Make a list or highlight or figure out when is the next office hours for your professor. And I want you to put it in your planner that you're going to attend. I want you to actually right now take out your freaking planner, take out Google Cal, take out iCal, take out your paper planner if that's what you have, and I need you to put it in your planner that it's going to be a commitment to you that you're going to show up for office hours. No one is going to come to save you. Okay, there isn't a magic fairy that's flying around your campus right now looking for students to help. It just doesn't exist. You have to be willing and ready and want to help yourself. One of the easiest ways that you can help yourself is by chatting with your professor, getting to know them, talking to them about what you've been doing in the class, how you've been struggling, asking them for feedback. Hey, professor, here's what I did to study for your last exam. Here's where I took my notes from. Here's how long I studied for. Here's what I used to quiz myself. Here's what my notes look like. Here's what I did with the PowerPoint. Here's how far in advance I started to study. And I didn't get the grade it is that I wanted. How would you suggest that I change it up? What would you suggest that I do? You've been doing this for so long, Professor. I bet you've come across a lot of students who have seen so much success in your class. I'd love to know what they did. Did you ever get to talk to any of your students about how they prepared for your class? Do you have any insight for me? I know that I haven't been doing my best. And from this moment on in the semester, I plan to show up 100%, but I need a little bit of support and a little bit of guidance on how to do that because I'm at a loss. I'm not sure how to approach it. The key to getting meaningful feedback from your professor is showing them that you've been doing the work. It's by taking personal responsibility. They will respect you for that. And they will be more willing to help you when you show up having shared with them what you're doing to help yourself. So that's Saturday's checklist. Now let's move on to Sunday. On Sunday, what you're going to do is you're going to actually create your new study plan. You're going to create your new study plan using these 3 key elements of a study routine that kicks freaking butt. You're ready for it? Because I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's called the SheRocks College method, the study method. This is what it looks like. If you can see it, let me know. This is what it looks like. And I'm going to walk you through each of these 3 steps. Your study routine needs to include these 3 steps. Why? Because these are the key steps that have been proven by neuroscientists to help you to earn better grades. To not only just memorize information, but actually understand it and retain it. Step number 1. Figure out a way to get the information. Your college is set up to give you a different way to think, a different perspective, to give you information that they believe is crucial to the major it is that you're working towards. How are you going to get that information? Are you going to get it by taking notes in lecture? Are you going to get it by taking notes from your textbook? Are you going to get it by watching videos online? Are you going to get it by listening to the recordings of the lecture? Are you going to get it by reading the PowerPoints? You need to have a way to expose yourself to this information, to acquire this information. That is step 1. For most of you, because lecture is a thing, for most of you, this is already built into your curriculum. It's just about you utilizing it properly with the right note-taking strategy. And I have a lot of videos on this YouTube channel that teach you about how to take the right notes. Step number 2 is probably the most essential part of a study routine. It is the thing that will make or break you. It is testing to make sure. Testing to make sure. What the hell are you testing to make sure? You're testing to make sure that you know the information that you just spent a week writing notes on. Because guess what? Your professor needs a way for them to gauge whether or not you guys are learning what they have set out to teach you. And the way that the education system is set up right now is that their method of gauging whether or not you are learning, thinking about, talking about, able to utilize in the real world or in examples, the information that they have set out to teach you in your class is for them to quiz you, to test you, to write a paper about it, to build a whole group project around it, etc. And your job as a student, if you know that that is coming down the line, if you know that your professor is going to assess whether or not you are learning what you're supposed to learn, and that then they're going to attach a grade to it, and that grade is going to be added to your GPA, and that GPA is going to determine God knows what, whether you get into a graduate program, whether or not you maintain your scholarship. Does it not make sense then that you should be gauging how much you know the information before someone else attaches a grade to it, before it actually counts? The worst moment to find out that you didn't know what you didn't know is on the exam. The worst moment to realize, crap, I should have studied a few more days. I should have read chapter 5 instead of skipping through it. I should have looked at my notes one more time. I should have done that practice exam again, is when you are sitting and staring at the question on the exam and thinking to yourself, when the hell did we even go over this? This looks nothing like the homework assignments that we did. I don't know how to answer any one of these questions. That is the worst moment. The best moment to figure out, I need to study a little bit more, is when you have 3 days to study a little bit more. So in your study routine, you need to build in these mini assessments for yourself, these mini check-in points for yourself that will let you know whether or not you're actually prepared to walk into that exam and kill it. The last thing that your study routine needs to include is some support, some relearning aspect, some way that you can fill in the knowledge gaps that you realize still exist through your own testing, through your own quizzing, through your own practice as you're studying. Because if you don't fill in those knowledge gaps when there's still time to fill them in, they will show up on the exam and you won't be able to answer them. And there goes 20 points. So your study routine also needs to have a way for you to relearn. Some simple things for relearning are visiting office hours and getting that information explained at a slower pace than it was explained in lecture, or going to tutoring, or looking at your PowerPoint and seeing if you can make sense of the information, or researching a video online that has an animation of it, or going back and rereading that section in the book. Rereading can be helpful when it is utilized as a relearning tool, not as a testing tool. Listen, if you were being tested on how well you could reread your notes, or how well you could reread your textbook, or how well you could create a stack of note cards, you'd all be A students right now. But that's not what you're tested on. What you're tested on is, how can you utilize this information? Show me that you've understood it. Show me that you can think about it critically. Show me that you can make connections to what we've been talking about. Show me that you understand these principles. Show me that you get how this works. Those are the questions that show up on your exams. And you need that foundation of the who, what, when, where, and how of all of it to be able to answer those higher level questions. But that only comes through you testing yourself. It doesn't come through rereading all the time. If you include those 3 things in your study routine, you will be unstoppable for the rest of the semester. You will jump by 10 points. I promise you that. Okay, so that is the first thing that you need to do on Sunday, is to create your study routine using this process that I talked about here, making sure that each one of these elements is included in your study routine. The next thing you need to do on Sunday is figure out where you're going to have the time to study, to take notes, to read, etc. So what you need to do first is you need to take a look at what's coming up for the next 4 weeks in the semester. This is the SheRocks at College method to planning your months, your weeks, and your days as a college student. This is going to keep you organized. It's going to keep you on track. It's going to keep you from falling behind. So take out your calendar, because I bet a lot of you already have in there your exam dates, your due dates, your project deadlines, etc. Figure out what's going to be coming up in the next 4 weeks. What's going to be due? What exams are coming up? And then I want you to work backwards. I want you to work backwards. And what that means is you're going to break up that month into 4 weeks. The first week, the second week, the third week, and the fourth week. The fourth week is when your stuff is due or when that exam is taking place. And you need to figure out, in order for me to hand this in on time and get a decent grade on it, in order for me to show up for this exam and know that I'm going to kill it, in order for me to make sure that everybody in my class that's a part of my group project does what they need to do, here's what needs to happen from now until then. So you're going to create a list of things that need to be done by week 1. By breaking up your projects into manageable chunks. What does this look like as an example? Well, let's say I have an exam that's going to come up in 4 weeks from now. And it's on 4 chapters. Well, week 1, what do I want to have done? I want to have read that chapter, taken notes on it, and quizzed myself on it by the end of that week, at least one time. What do I want to have done by week 2? Well, the second chapter out of the 4 that I have for this exam. I want to take notes on it. I want to show up to lecture. I want to quiz myself on it at least once. Then the third week, well, I want to have that third chapter read and noted on. I want to quiz myself on that content and also review stuff from week 2 and week 1. By the end of the 4th week, I want to have quizzed myself on everything that we've done from week 1 to week 3, and also make sure that I know the stuff that we covered this week on week 4, so that when I show up for that exam, I'm 100% prepared. When you are working from a list, when you create a plan like this, and then you do this next step that I'm about to give you, this is how you stop yourself from being overwhelmed. When you give yourself a plan, when you give yourself something to work towards. I have lipstick on my teeth and none of you guys told me. What kind of friends are you? But this is live, so we're going to roll with it. Because I just saw it and I took it off, which is totally fine. So, the next step is you have to take the damn action. Every day, you should be working on 1 to a maximum of 3 things. 1 to a maximum of 3 things that help you to meet your deadline. That help you to meet that goal that you set for yourself of what you wanted to have accomplished by week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. This means that you are going to need to put your phone on airplane mode. That you need to get away from quick access things like Netflix, the TV, your computer. If you don't need your computer, do not take it with you to the library. Do not have it in front of you, because chances are that it's too tempting to hop on YouTube or hop on social media. If you're reading and you're taking notes on a chapter, you don't need your textbook. You don't need your computer in front of you. All you need is your textbook and a notebook. You need to take the action. Watching videos on how to write notes, watching videos like this will motivate and inspire you for a second. But the only thing that will produce results like A's and B's on a paper, A's and B's on an exam, A's and B's on a quiz, A's and B's on a group project is for you to put your dang blinders on and get to freaking work. 99% of the time, the reason why you're procrastinating is because you do not know what to focus on and you do not know what to take action on. What helps with that is this 4-week plan that I'm talking about. So there you have it. Your step-by-step plan to getting back on track and revamping your study routine mid-semester, all in one weekend. You are brilliant. You are smart. You are capable, and you are enough for academic success and life success. You can do this. I know for a fact, I know that you are smart enough, talented enough, and worthy enough of doing this and achieving academic success and revamping your study routine this weekend. But if you know me, I'm all about helping you to take that action. So I thought that it would be really freaking fun to do this together as a challenge this weekend. Who's excited about that? Who wants to go through this process with me this weekend? Who wants to revamp and go through all of these steps on Saturday and on Sunday together so that by the end of the weekend you will have revamped your study routine? Are you guys still with me? Can everyone still hear me and see me? Okay. So Savannah's in. Talia's in. So we're going to hold each other accountable. Michelle is in. We're all going to be working on each of the steps. We're going to be posting our progress. And I'm going to give you worksheets and templates to help you work through all of these steps. So I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm going to give you email scripts that you can send to your professors. I'm going to tell you what to say to your professor to get them to talk to you during office hours. I'm going to give you templates to write down your study routine. I'm going to give you access to this 3-step study method, along with the 3-step study method, along with different activities that you can do for each of the steps. So if you're thinking, okay, well, how can I expose myself? Or how can I test myself? Or how can I relearn? You're going to get a bunch of different examples that you can use. I'm going to give you a tool to help you calculate your grade. So that's going to be taken care of. I'm going to give you a way that you can create your 4-week plan. So you're going to be fully set up. It's going to be super step by step. You're going to have templates. You're going to be fully supported. And then I'm also going to be available for questions. I'm going to be available for support. So if you are commenting, if you're letting me know, Clarissa, I'm doing step 2 on Saturday and I'm feeling stuck. Here's what I have in mind. I'm going to give you the feedback and you're going to be walked through the entire process step by step. If you're thinking to yourself right now, I don't have time to do this weekend, I have a midterm next week, you definitely do not have time. You cannot afford not to do this. Planning saves you so much time, guys, because you're not wasting time trying to figure out what you should do, what you need to do, how you should do it. When it is time to work, you can just sit down and get to work. Every minute that you spend planning and creating a strategy saves you 10 minutes when you're executing and actually taking your notes and actually studying for your exam and actually writing your paper, which means that if you do this with me this weekend, you're going to gain back 20 hours this week. Who wants 20 hours to just binge watch Netflix? Who wants an extra 20 hours to go and hang out with your husband or your boyfriend or your friends, or to just veg out and take a dang nap? If you spend 2 hours going through this process with me this weekend, it's going to give you back 20 hours this week. So here is how you sign up for the challenge. Give me a second because I'm going to put it in the comments for you guys so you have it. And I was a bad girl and didn't test this beforehand. So if you are signing up while you're on right now and you're having trouble, can you just let me know? All right, here's where you want to go. And you have to type it in exactly how you see it on the screen. Because if not, it's not going to work. So go there and sign up for the Revamp Your Study Routine in a Weekend Challenge. It's happening this Saturday, this Sunday. And you all need to participate with me. Who just signed up? I want to know. I want to know who just signed up. Deb is in. Woohoo, Deb, did it work for you? Did you get the thank you page? Did it work? Because I was a bad girl and I did not test it. So Deb says she's in. Danielle says it works. I'm in. Awesome. There is no set time for this challenge. The way that it's going to work is that at 6 a.m., around 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you are going to get an email from me. It is going to have all of the templates. It's going to have, what steps to take. It's going to have all the information. And all you have to do is open up that email and follow along with the steps. And you can do it at whatever time you want on Saturday. But if you want to get feedback from me and if you want to get support, you're going to want to add yourself to the Facebook group where it's all going down. The Facebook group is where I'm going to be hopping on, helping you, answering your questions, all of that. And you can post it up at any time. And so Savannah says, yes, got the email. So it's all working. It's all set up. Zena signed up. Megan signed up. Talia signed up. So guys, it's going to be great. I cannot wait. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on the very first episode of SheRocks College Live and for showing up for yourself and for signing up for this challenge. Next week's show, I'm going to tell you about next week's show because this show is happening every Thursday. You can find me here at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week's show is going to be with Sonia Lewis, who is an expert at paying back student loans. So if you want to learn how to pay back your student loans faster and how to pay them back before you even graduate, you're going to want to make sure that you hop on. She's going to be available for questions. She's going to be here to walk us through how to pay back our student loans faster and while we're still in college. So that's going to be happening next Thursday. Victoria signed up. That's going to be happening next Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all so much for joining me. I cannot wait to see you in the challenge this weekend. You girls are brilliant, and I will see you next time. Bye.